Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make and attach a fringe to your knitted items, your scarves. And so all you're going to need is a pair of scissors, a crochet hook that is large enough to hold multiple strands of yarn at the same time. And then you're going to need something to wind your yarn around. So I recommend using something like a small hardcover book, or in my case, I'm going to be using my needle gauge tool that I have here. But you can use something like cardboard, just as long as it's stiff enough to wind your yarn around. Just keep in mind that the length of whatever it is that you are winding your yarn around is going to be the approximate length of your fringe. And one of the benefits of using a hardcover book like this is that it has this little lip at the top, and that just makes it easier for you to get your scissors through and to cut through your yarn. But any of these things that I mentioned will work just fine. So like I said, I'll be using my gauge, and of course you're going to need yarn of your choosing. As you are winding your yarn around your tool, you want to make sure that you are not pulling your yarn too tightly. If you do, you're going to have some recoil and your strands are going to end up being shorter than you probably anticipated. So you want to make sure that you have a nice even tension when winding your yarn. Just make sure that it's not too tight, not too loose. And so I'm going to use 5 strands of yarn per tassel, and I'm going to make 7 tassels. So 7 times 5 is 35. So I'm going to be winding my yarn around my gauge 35 times. I'm doing 35 wraps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you wanted to do each tassel individually, you could cut it off here and just do 5 wraps 7 times individually, but I'm going to do it all in one go. Okay, so once you have completed your 35 wraps, you're just going to snip off the end at the bottom. And we are going to be cutting across one side of our wrap. But what I have found is that you need to turn your work so that the 2 exposed strands are facing upwards and cut along this top side, not the bottom. I don't know the I don't know the inner workings behind it, but when I cut on the other side, I always end up somehow cutting one strand completely in half. So I found that this method works perfectly. So you're going to want to just then take your scissors and cut all the way across as evenly as possible. And don't worry, it does not have to be perfect. And then you should have 35 strands of yarn that is approximately the same length. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 7 groups with 5 strands of yarn each. Okay, so I have my 7 groups, each containing 5 strands of yarn. So what I like to do is first attach a tassel to either end of my scarf and then one in the middle. And I think that this is just a good way to help make sure that the tassels are evenly distributed throughout and balanced. So you take your group of yarn, you want to fold it in half so that it's kind of equal on both sides. You take your crochet hook, and I'm going to go into the right hand corner first, and you just slide your crochet hook through the top, and then you lay your strands over the hook, and then you pull it through. And then you open up that loop that you've created, and then you tuck the strands into the loop and then pull. And there you have it. You have a tassel. Super easy, nothing too crazy. And then I like to go ahead and do the opposite corner. So I'm just going to repeat that same process. I'm going to make sure that they are even. I'm going to fold them in half so that they are equal on both sides. Then insert my crochet hook through the top. Lay the strands on the hook. Pull them through. Sometimes you have to be careful not to drop a strand. Then create a loop, pull the strands up through the loop, and then tighten them. Yeah, see, I think I accidentally lost a strand there, but let's carry on. I'll fix that later. So then I like to fold my scarf in half, and that will kind of give me an idea of where the center of the scarf is. And then I just kind of mark it with my finger. And same process. Fold your strands in half. Insert your hook. Pull the strands up through. Create a loop. Then pull the strands up through the center of that loop, and there you go. I like doing it this way because now I know I just need to fill in these little gaps right here, and that just, to me, it helps just make sure that the tassels are evenly spaced. So we're just going to go ahead and repeat the same process. Okay, so as you can see, our tassels have been attached. And then what I like to do is take a pair of scissors, and I think the longer the blades, the better. And then I like to just trim up the edges. You can use something like a ruler or a piece of cardboard if you want to help create a nice straight edge, but honestly, I usually just like to eyeball it. And I will just trim it down to whatever length that I prefer. Usually try to find your shortest strand and then kind of trim everything down to match, but honestly, I'm not too particular. I don't feel like it has to be absolutely perfect. And that's it. You just kind of go through and clean up the edges. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it helped you. If it did, please feel free to like and subscribe. It will go a long way in helping me grow my channel. I hope that you have a wonderful day wherever it is that you are. And as always, keep it cozy, and I will see you in the next one.